camera tripod thing just keeps falling and I'm not exactly sure why. Hey friends, my name's Gabrielle. Welcome to FrumiousReads. Welcome to week 10 of my book a day wrap up for 2016. We are just plowing through those weeks. I want to give a quick shout out to Sarah from Sarah Night Owl. She is awesome and she actually sent me these pictures that she drew herself of me in the style of a Funko Pop doll, and that is so sweet and cool, and she has such great artistic talent. So I just want to say a quick thank you and show everyone how great her art skills are. This week I am actually recording this a little bit ahead of time. It's my spring break and I am actually going on a road trip to Arizona with some friends. So I'm really excited for that. It's going to be super fun. But enough about my personal life. We all know what we're really here for, and that is for my book a day wrap up of week 10. Yeah! Okay, so this week I read The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, Panic Room by James Ellison, The Wolf of Tebron by C.S. Lakin, Paradise by Toni Morrison, Turn on the Light So I Can Hear by Terry Canfield, Eve the Soul Reaper by Leonard Clifton, and Gabrielle and the Swallows by Esther Dalsano. This week was just very average, which I think kind of happens. You know, you don't always read the best stellar books that you fall in love with. Especially during challenges like this where you're reading so many books all the time. The only book that really stood out to me this week was Gabrielle and the Swallows by Esther Dalsano. This was one that I've been talking about a lot on this channel lately. I did a behind the scenes look at the characters and I have just been really excited to read this book, and I finally got my Kindle version of it and I'm just so excited to talk about it. This book was so interesting because I was actually trying to make predictions about what would happen in the book before I had read the book. So it was interesting to see how my predictions kind of came true and kind of didn't. I'm not gonna say anything spoilery, but there were a few things that I am like, hey, I kind of said that would happen and I knew it would. Gabrielle and the Swallows, for you guys who don't know, is essentially takes place from the perspective of Gabriel as he's growing up in this town in Italy called Orvieto. Gabriel is an outsider because his mother is disabled and his father is really poor, and Gabriel kind of splits his time between the reality that he lives in, where he is the son of a poor winemaker and a disabled mother, and his dream world where everything is perfect and his life goes exactly how he wants it to go and he is loved and just respected and really popular with everyone. Eventually they both kind of start to connect and Gabriel has to decide like which path he wants to follow, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed reading about the culture and I liked reading from Gabriel because he's the main character but he reads as a secondary character in his own story. He feels like he is living this average life and doesn't feel interesting at all compared to everyone else around him. I think that's a really interesting perspective to read from because it's almost like even though he is the one telling the story, you're interested in everyone else but him, and that continues all the way until the ending. So I thought that made for a really great novel. I really enjoyed reading it. So if you guys get a chance, I definitely recommend picking that book up. The okay book that I read this week, I kind of had higher expectations for it just because it's such an interesting concept, and that would be Panic Room by James Ellison. It wasn't as suspenseful as I would have thought it would be. There were certain plot twists that I just kind of didn't feel surprised by. It was almost kind of boring after a while, to be honest, but that was okay. I didn't really have a worst book of the week. This was kind of another week where everything was just kind of average for me. My other okay book, I guess I would have to say for this week, would probably be Turn on the Light So I Can Hear by Terry Canfield. I read a lot of works by Terry Canfield in the past, and this was a really good book. It takes place from the perspective of a hearing woman who signs up to be a translator, and she signs up for this job because she's an art student who needs money and she literally knows nothing about sign language. So it's kind of her as she goes through and tries to learn sign language and ends up falling for her sign language instructor, and it has a little bit of a romance, which is nice. I really liked their relationship together. It was a different kind of take on a genre that can be kind of repetitive after a while. That is my week 10 wrap up. This was a little bit quicker than I thought it would go, but that's just kind of all I had to offer this week. I am not picking blindly for my challenge, and let me tell you why. There has been a book that I have wanted to read and I have not picked the number for it yet, and it's really bothering me because this book is so interesting and I just want to read it, so I'm just going to pick it. I was told there would be Cake by Sloane Crossley. This book is going to fulfill the challenge for a book with a great opening line. This book is a collection of essays, and I know it says the first line of the book that grabs your attention, but honestly, it's the title of the essays that grabbed my attention. One of the chapters is called Bring Your Machete to Work Day, and I was just like, okay, that sounds interesting. That sounds like something I would like to read. That concludes my week 10 wrap-up video. If you guys haven't seen my latest video, then make sure you stick around. It will be playing right after this. Let me know what you guys think of this video in the comments below. Let me know if there's any books that you would like me to do a separate review on as well. If you guys like this video, then go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I try and upload bookish videos twice a week. That is all that I have for you guys today, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Okay, bye. This book is amazing. I've actually read it before. This was a reread that I did